Hi, everyone. Welcome to Always Peaking. My name is Neal, and I'm the co-founder and CEO at Beacons AI. Over the last 6 years at Beacons, we've seen more creators become founders and more founders become creators to grow their companies and their personal brands. On this show, I want to try to learn from the people living in the intersection of this Venn diagram of founders and creators. Always Peaking is about navigating this journey, overcoming the low points, and pushing towards the next peak. My guest today is Steph Mui. She's my good friend and founder and CEO of PIN, which stands for Power in Numbers. Steph has experience in venture capital and investment banking, and now she's building a platform that helps different communities collectively invest in startups. Since 2022, Steph has raised millions of dollars for PIN and powered hundreds of investment communities. This year, she started her creator career, and she's become one of the fastest growing new creators as Steph the Founder on Instagram, where she talks about startups, tech, and more. Today, we're going to talk to Steph and learn more about her journey and find out if she's more founder or creator at this point. Steph, it's great to see you. How are you doing today?
Oh, hello.
I'm excited to do this, with one of my friends. So the way we're going to do this today is first we're going to have it's going to be like a workout, right? So we're going to have like a section that's like a warm up, then the main event or the climb or the competition or whatever. And then we'll have a cool down at the end.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll start with the warm up.
Did you come up with this?
No, Abby did. Yeah. But
Okay. It's very
I
creative.
dang. Okay. This is like the non-human part of me not getting credit for that. Okay. So the warm up. First question is, what was the first app that you opened this morning?
Oh, man. Probably Twitter.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, even though it's the most toxic platform. It unfortunately is just such a helpful news source.
Yeah. Do you ever call it X or still Twitter?
No,
Okay.
call it Twitter.
What is,
It's my protest to Elon.
okay. Do you open it more as a founder or creator?
Oh, definitely a founder.
Definitely. Yeah.
I feel like, especially as a founder, because you're not really active on X, right?
No. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's generally a good thing,
Kind
but
of gave it up after probably 2 years ago or something. Yeah.
was that around the Elon takeover?
Probably. I think it was just like wasting time and yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, not to criticize your choice of first app.
I don't take personal offense at all. As a tech founder, and I think part of it also is like my company is so related to startup funding, so EC, etc. It is just such a good source of information and news that I haven't been able to replicate in newsletters, RSS feeds, like Instagram, TikTok. That's not great for that. Just because I think the tech community, there's a small percentage for sure, like 10 or 20% of the tech community that's on there pretty actively. And so that's why I really like it. But funnily enough, like my creator journey, if you want to call it that, like started on Twitter. Like that was the first platform where I had a following of any sort. But I kind of stopped posting like probably a year ago just because like the platform got so toxic that when I go on the platform, it's really for utility. It's like I'm on there for like 15, 20 minutes, news, reading, etc. And then I like get off the platform. Like I hate reading and engaging and whatever now.
Yeah, your content on Twitter was like really different than what you're making now though. It's like more like shit posting and stuff, right?
Totally shit posting, humor, like founder, like inside jokes, I guess, or
She was really good at it though.
Thank you. It's funny. It was fun too, because especially I started posting on Twitter right at the beginning of my founder journey. And these were like literally the thoughts that were in my brain. Like those snarky things that I would write about like founders or VCs and stuff were just like the quippy things that I would think. And it was so easy to kind of push out. And I think I understood Twitter as a platform at the time better, like culturally as well. And so it was easy for me to kind of produce that content. And then when we started getting customers through that, just given again, there's such alignment between my company and the audience on there, I was like, oh, this is great. I'll just keep doing this. But it started off as like a Twitter bet. So
I think it makes a lot of sense for PIN. I'm kind of like remembering, I think it was really helpful when we were fundraising, but then like we haven't fundraised since like 2022. So I haven't had much use.
So that's probably a good thing. It's very toxic otherwise. So
What's the first app that you open as a creator every day?
Ooh. What do you mean, like to check to
the creator side of your life? Like what's the app that you open first? Like Instagram or something?
Probably. I'm trying to think. Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I don't really think about it because I feel one of the things that I think makes the creator stuff easier for me is like integrating it into my regular life. So like when I'm scrolling or as I'm working and doing whatever, like I'll pin ideas and have like a running list of them. And so I don't think I think to myself like, oh, I'm starting like I need to do stuff for creator stuff. Let me open this app or start this journey.
Yeah.
But rather just have like a running list of random things wherever my mind leads me.
Okay, next warm-up question. I know you really like to run because you've been really excited about coming to this creator run club
Oh yeah, I
and
love running.
trying to almost like, yeah, co-organize it with me. So
Yeah, yeah,
I'm excited to see you there for the next one.
yeah,
You heard it here first. Just coming to the next creator
totally.
run
Yeah,
club.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Love running. Haven't run a mile in more
but,
5 years, but yeah, I
so
love running.
definitely coming. But what is your favorite workout?
Oh, yoga for sure.
Yoga?
Yeah, or golf actually,
Okay, what
for
kind?
different reasons.
Yeah.
Power yoga. If it's too slow, I fall asleep. But if it's
Okay.
like fast, that's when I'm like, I get really into it.
Okay. Last warm up. What are you most excited about out of all the things you're working on right now?
What am I most excited about? We're building a new product right now, which I've mentioned to you briefly, that I'm really excited about that kind of intersects or has an intersection of like my creator world and the company.
Mm-hmm.
The long story short there is that my original company, Pin, allowed for groups of people to invest in startups together. And we found that one of the biggest value adds, besides the money, was being able to crowdsource introductions, especially for really strong hires, but also investors, advisors, like customers. And we really want to lean into that more. And so, especially given so much of my audience is following me because they're looking for great startups to join, invest in, et cetera, we built a new product actually that makes people or that allows people to easily almost create affiliate links for
Mm.
companies.
Okay.
And so if they refer a great engineering hire, great design hire, great
Yeah.
sales hire to a company, they get 5, 10, sometimes up to 30 or even 50K. And
Wow.
yeah, and it's a win-win for both sides because like on the company side, they get high quality referrals they may not otherwise get. It's a new source of candidates that they otherwise wouldn't
Mhm.
have access to. And these companies are already paying recruiters like 20, 30, 40K anyway.
Yeah.
And so for them, it's like free upside basically, where like if we place people,
Yeah.
obviously they would have paid that money anyway. They're happy to get that great person. And then for everyday people, like that's a substantial amount of money.
Yeah.
Creators too,
Sure.
actually.
Yeah.
'Cause
You should work
people-
with like tech creators who have a bunch of
Yeah.
engineers following them. They could make a ton of money.
Exactly. They
Yeah.
can make a ton of money
Yeah.
too, which is why I think people are excited. And also I think
Yeah.
the brilliant thing that I love too, a lot of my content, I think, of all the series that I do, the one that is consistently the best performing and the ones that people, DM me about and whatever are the ones that where I feature great companies that are hiring, et
Yeah.
cetera. So I feel like there's also like a it's the type of content that people are excited about
Yeah.
too. And so it's a win-win for all sides.
Yeah. What's that series called? It's like companies that will make you a millionaire or something like that. If you don't
Exactly.
know.
Yes.
Watch your
Gotta play the
content.
algo
Okay. Yeah.
game. Yeah.
Okay. So I think it's pretty clear that you're kind of like founder first. But since the creator side is newer, and I think that's what we've been talking about a lot recently, um, curious like how's that been going recently and what are some of the kind of problems that you've been encountering and trying to solve? Yeah. I know some of them, but I want to hear like about the new ones
Man,
too.
where do I start?
Yeah.
On the creator side?
Yeah. On the creator side.
Well, first of all, I hate watching myself talk. And so having to
Me too. Yeah. It's great that we're on this podcast together.
great,
Yeah.
love I'm not gonna be watching
Yeah.
this. No, I'm just kidding. I hate having to like naturally, obviously, when you're recording yourself, you're looking at yourself a lot more, and then obviously the editing piece or
Yeah.
you record stuff. So that's something that I really don't like.
I'm so good at it though.
So good at looking at myself. I also
Fastest growing
tired.
creator on Instagram this
Oh
year.
my
I don't know if that's
gosh.
true. I've cited that as fact like several times now,
So
but
true.
yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's one thing I don't love. And so I feel like I go through periods of like feeling tired, not because I'm not excited about sharing something, but rather because like as part of that, right, I have to storytell and therefore like look at what I'm doing and saying and edit things. And, I think
Yeah.
having to watch myself and my voice over and over again is very annoying.
Are you still editing everything yourself right now?
I'm not, but I think probably I edit 80% of videos
Okay.
myself, and part of that is I actually have a really phenomenal editor. He's great, but I think there's like two issues that come with that. One's like needing to give him enough lead time,
Yeah.
and even with the series that I do regularly, I do them so last minute in part because the founder stuff comes first
Yeah.
that I don't have time to pass it to him in order to
Yeah.
edit. And then the second issue is a lot of the stuff that I post too is like literally stuff that I think about randomly where I'm like, "Oh, I see this new story on X," or like, "I'm working today and doing this." And some of them are like time sensitive, like
Okay.
news stuff, so I want to post them quickly as well. I also have noticed that if I dwell on something too much, like if I record a video and let it sit for a week, I just won't post it because there's like so much criticism that I can have over the course of that week of like why that video isn't good.
Yeah.
So part of my strategy and what I recommend to people who are getting started is just like record the video and post it immediately. Like
Yeah.
don't give yourself time to freak out or yeah.
Okay. This sounds like a good tip.
Yeah.
How did you find your editor? Because I know that's like a problem that lots of creators, early problem that they have to solve.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
through I mean, speaking of the product I just mentioned, it was through referral, actually, through, like, a founder friend who was working with him, on his social media, and I thought the editing was super strong and got connected to him.
Where's he
Okay.
based?
Denver.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess if you have someone who can like follow you around in person all day, right?
Who
That
does do people have those?
someone had recommended that we do that at one point. I don't know if like
Oh, yeah.
probably some people, maybe like Gary Vee does that or something.
I feel like that's
People
just
like
chief of
that.
staff, right? With a camera.
I guess so. Yeah, you could add that as something you're looking for from
Yeah,
chief of
yeah,
staff.
yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Okay. Anything else that you've been working? I didn't like. I know you've been trying to find a manager for a while. How's that going?
Yeah, it has been interesting.
Mm,
Yeah, I think as someone who's, like, really new to the creator world and who, like, doesn't really get it organically, having not really been in it that long, but having a strong business sense
yeah.
has been interesting. So, like, reconciling, things that I know about business outside and what I
Yeah.
expect from that, but also learning about, creator and agent culture for the first time
Hmm.
is, like, an interesting Venn diagram that I'm
Yeah.
merging together. So one big thing that I have struggled with, I think, is, like, uh when I do business with people in the same way that, looking for VCs, looking for co-founders,
Yeah.
relationship with an agent or a manager, in my experience, is like a pretty serious relationship because it's contractually, obligated essentially for a year usually, or sometimes more than that. And so,
Yeah.
it's not something, you're not hiring a teammate or, doing a work trial with somebody. And so for me, I put a lot of weight on feeling like, okay, I really want to get along with this person well and align on values. And I think it also is complicated by the fact that they are taking, a percentage of your income as well. And so you also want to be, you know, assured that they're adding value more than what they're taking from you.
Yeah.
And as someone who is new to this space, it is very hard to suss out who those people are. Like, you meet someone once or twice, they're really nice, but like what kind of relationship do you have with them? Secondly, I found in my experience, like I'm big on reference checks and back channeling.
Hmm.
In the creator space, in my experience compared to founders and VCs, and maybe this is also because I'm newer to the space, it is much harder to find references because it's much
Yeah.
more fragmented in my experience on the creator side versus on the VC side. I feel like, there's what, 30 top VCs and
Yeah.
tons of people have worked with them, and so it's, a smaller world.
Yeah. And it's a lot more public, I think,
Yeah,
in the VC side.
totally.
How many like management companies have you interviewed?
I probably
So,
have talked to, like, 7 live, yeah, and then there's a few that like, I just didn't have time to necessarily, and, everyone on the surface is nice, everyone's great, it seems great, and, um I think the other challenge that I have too is, like, I'll do reference checks with founders or excuse me, with creators, and, everyone will have genuinely nice things to say,
yeah.
but, I think everyone is also looking for something a little different, right? Like, in my experience, a lot of creators are looking for someone to take the admin, business stuff completely off their plate, and that's
Mhm.
their biggest pain point.
Yeah.
And although I struggle, although that's nice for me, like, obviously both of us too, it's like all we do all day is like spend time in our emails or signing contracts or reading boring things. So for me, it's second nature. So what I'm looking for more is like a strategic thought partner or someone who's going to help, you know, do outbound for me, things like
Yeah.
that. And so that's also been an interesting thing to reconcile.
Okay. That sounds like the AI we're building at Beacons.
Oh, amazing. There we go. Well, I'm
Maybe get a
already
kick.
customers. You can
Yeah.
upsell me. Yeah.
Yeah. One last question about the creator side, like because you're also a founder building a company and like I imagine you think about building your team on that side a lot. What do you imagine your team on the creator side will look like in like 3 years from now? Or
I
are
don't,
you going to build a team on that side?
yeah. Part of me is like, oh man, I don't know if I can manage two teams.
Yeah.
Like, I have my hands full with one, I don't know if I can. On the other hand, I feel like my hope is that the creator stuff and the founder stuff becomes even more merged in the future.
Hmm.
Like, I think I had one, or I think I had a heart to heart with myself recently where I was like really thinking about, okay, where do I want this to go? What do I hope my life in this kind of professional world look like in 3 to 5 years?
Hmm.
And I really do want to build a business.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. I just feel like, the brand deals are great and that's been really fun this year from like, especially from like a novelty factor. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, this brand wants to pay me for like this video. This is amazing.
Yeah.
But the more that I've kind of thought about like where my strengths are and then also looked at other creators who I really admire and as they progress, like, you know, a lot of them are great business people too,
Hmm.
right? Like Hank Green, just Lom's focus friend, a really cool app I think is very awesome and fitting to him.
Yeah.
Mr. Beast obviously is a really big example. There's also a creator that I love called Strawberry Milk Mob that is like a bikini e-commerce founder.
This one I do not know, but
Sure. Just stay. But yeah, so anyway, I feel like for me, building a business, both from like a logical, practical point of view, but also from like a skill set point of view, is something I'm excited
Mm,
about. So maybe in the future, like it'll almost be merged where like my
yeah,
creator team, my editor or something will be like in-house at Pin.
yeah. At this
Yeah.
point, is there like one creator that you kind of like look up to or use as a model for what you want to become on the creator side?
Um, Not just one person. I think there's lots of different people.
Mm,
Kyle Scanlon comes to mind. I like Strawberry Milk Mob. Like I mentioned, she's like a very different type of creator. Like she's like also like early 20s, traveling in Europe or traveling to Europe all the time, like pure lifestyle.
that could be you.
That could be me. But Ramit Sethi, like Logan Yuri. So I feel like there's a lot of people I look up to in different ways that I'm like hoping to take inspiration from and merge my own path towards.
Okay, nice. We're
Yeah.
going to the founder side now, and I think we haven't been like around each other a lot physically over the last 5 years, but I think we've been
Yeah.
kind of like staying connected and talking about things as we built our companies. And
Yeah.
Pin is not your first company,
No.
right? So what was the one before it?
It was a fitness company, not a running company though. I'll caveat that, but it was a fitness company in the AR space, AR VR space.
Okay, what was it called? What were you doing? What did you think you were gonna be doing?
Relive this,
Yeah, yeah.
PTSD. It was called Mulu,
Mm-hmm.
which ironically is also still our LLC name. So people get really confused. They'll be like, "Why is Mulu Fitness like charging me money or sending me money, whatever?" But that was the original name
Oh,
of
I
the
didn't know
company.
that. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a name I still love
yeah.
actually. It's cool, right? It rhymes. It's
Putting me on the
catchy.
spot. Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's great. I like
Okay,
Pin
fine,
too,
thanks,
though.
Neil. Pin is
Pin
great too.
stands for power in numbers, by the way.
Alright, thank you, yes,
Yeah,
that I thought also was very clever.
yeah.
It was Mulu Fitness, and it was an AR app that allowed you to play, like, multiplayer fitness games from your phone with your friends virtually. You can obviously probably tell this was, like, a COVID-born company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask about that because I think Pin is kind of like you're like the one person who should be building Pin. I think like you're a really good founder market fit for Pin, right?
Thank
With your
you.
background and like
Yeah.
because you're already doing this basically,
Yeah.
right? Before you had the company. Uh, but Mulu was more, or I didn't know like your fitness background, but it seemed like more
Yeah.
just like you thought it was a good idea and tried to build a company around it.
Yeah, the story there was, a friend of mine and I, while I was in business school, were working on actually a travel company.
Hmm.
Actually kinda related to creators. My observation at the time, which obviously this is also just the most cliche founder idea, so don't judge me too much for this, but, my observation at the time was looking at all the marketplaces that existed in the world,
Hmm.
Booking, Hotels.com, the hotel OTAs take some of the highest take rates of any marketplace. Like, the normal marketplace will take 5, 10%, whatever.
Yeah,
They take, like, 20 or more.
yeah,
And when I, like, dug into, like, why that is or, what allows them to do so, another interesting observation I saw was they were spending the vast majority of that on ads, right? Like,
mm,
Facebook ads or whatever. And so in my mind, I was like, oh, I wonder if there's an arbitrage opportunity where instead of spending money on a bunch of ads, instead you could actually just get creators to drive people with their content to booking things. And the platform could essentially split the take rate. So like, let's say we take 20% like hotels, but we get 10% as the platform, the creator gets 10%. And we have this marketing arbitrage because we don't
mm,
have to go out and spend money on Facebook ads because we have
yeah.
built-in distribution. That was the idea.
Okay.
So we built an MVP for that, launched it, and then literally 2 weeks later, COVID hit. And originally it was like, okay, there's like 3 weeks of this, like we're gonna be in lockdown for 3 weeks and this will pass, no problem. And then when it became obvious that COVID was gonna be a longer lasting thing, we had raised money at that point.
Oh, you had?
We had.
Okay.
So everything was just like very
Okay. I
fast.
don't think I remembered that part.
Yeah, we had raised money at that point and we needed to like pivot quickly and figure something out. So our first move was like, okay, the creators that we were working with, what were they doing? They were shifting to content that you could do at home. Lifestyle, fitness was obviously a huge one. So that's how we got into the fitness space. And then it had evolved from there beyond creators. It became a very crowded space where like everyone was trying to build like the Shopify of
Yeah.
fitness creators online,
Yeah.
essentially. And then we ended up pivoting away from that and building this AR game. I actually don't even know how that evolution happened, but it was just like lots of iterating, testing, like
Yeah.
where is there white space, blah blah blah. I think part of it was also at the time the iPhone technology for AR was getting a lot better on the phone,
Mhm.
and Mirror, which was like the big device on the wall that Lululemon acquired for like hundreds of millions of dollars,
Yeah.
was still very top of mind, and Peloton was taking off too. And so I think that's kind of how we ended up in that space.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like very relieved to no longer be in it because of that exact reason, which is like it was fun, and weirdly, I feel like I actually became the most fit from that, like a fitness habit that stuck. Like
Yeah.
I work out every week now, and that was not true before Mulu.
But never with me.
Never with well,
But
you're
we're gonna start running soon. So
yeah, no, no, I can't work out with you because that's intimidating. It's too scary. Yours are too intense. But I'm yeah, I feel like that was a big realization. It was like the contrast of Mulu versus Pin,
mm,
exactly kind of to your point of feeling like, oh, I actually have some authority in this space because of my experience, my invention of this model. Whereas in fitness, I was one of like 3,000 entrepreneurs and
yeah.
probably like the bottom 5% in terms of actual fitness. So I was like, this is just not a good fit. So it feels much more authentic now that I'm building Pin.
Can you talk a little bit about like the pin stuff you were doing before pin existed, like at GSB and stuff?
Yeah, the whole idea there was we were trying to figure out a way for our classmates to invest together in our classmates' startups,
Mm.
looking at like the Stanford data from the last few years.
Yeah, GSB is Stanford Business School.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Stanford GSB, yes.
Yeah.
Um, the whole premise looking at the data from the past 10 years was like every single year there were, at least one, but usually at least three or more unicorns per class.
Oh wow.
And so our thesis was like, okay, if we can invest in our classmates and
Yeah.
take an index, we would have a tremendous fund. And how fun would it be also as a class because we're already helping each other out and like, we're each other's co-founders and early testers and, whatever. It'd be awesome to have skin in the game also and like actually put our money where our mouths are. And so that was the whole premise. The biggest struggle at the time was the sheer number of people in our class and then also the number of unaccredited people in our class. And so traditional fund structures,
Yeah.
those didn't work for us. And so that's kind of what put us on this 2-year-long journey of inventing the vehicle to create that investment fund for our class. We launched that in 2020. Had a ton of people kind of reach out, asking to do the same thing. And I think that was actually my realization point that I needed to pivot because like Mulu was like bleeding customers every day. We were like begging people to use the product. Meanwhile, this like thing that I had never advertised before, was truly the paid. But truly, yeah, like then, this article that came out about us on TechCrunch, like I did no advertising for the product at all, but we would get inbounds every day, literally at least one, if not multiple a day, people who were like begging to do it. And so that's kind of when
Mm.
I realized like not only is like the founder market fit better there, but also just from like a customer perspective, like we had a built-in customer base before we even raised or organized.
What year was that you pivoted into pin?
22, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we met in 2019 or 2020,
Yeah.
like around the time you were starting Mulu, right?
Yeah, I don't remember how we got connected though. I know it was through Stanford, but I don't remember where or
Yeah.
how or
Someone introed us.
someone.
I can't remember who you did. We'll go back through the emails later.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, 3 unicorns a class, you said.
Yeah, at
Okay.
least.
Pin's the only one I'm invested in. So future
Yeah,
unicorn.
yeah.
This is not investment advice. Am I allowed to say any of this? I don't know. We'll go back to it. Can you tell us what a unicorn is?
A unicorn is a company worth over $1 billion.
Yeah.
So a very successful company.
Okay. Kind of like beacons.
Exactly. Exactly.
Am I allowed to say that? I'm probably gonna get thrown in jail.
Wait, why?
I don't know.
You're just
Because we're
manifesting.
not actually manifesting. Okay.
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. Yeah. So it seems like one theme across all the things you've been doing is kind of like building community or something like community related. Is that intentional or is that just kind of like an emergent thing that's happened with the things you've worked on?
Yeah, I think it wasn't intentional in the sense that I wasn't like going out being like, okay, I feel like community is an edge in the world. Like there are investors who have that thesis, right? And let me build a company around it. But it is something that I care a lot about. Like even when I was growing up, I remember something that I really loved was like school spirit. Um, and funnily enough, I went to like horribly unschool spirited schools. Like my
Chicago.
exactly. No, U Chicago, people hate U Chicago. There are more people at U Chicago that hate U Chicago than like it. Not even love it, just like it.
You guys have sports? D3?
We do have sports. They're D3. Needless to say, there was not a lot of school spirit in any regard, right? And despite that, I still really, I have a lot of school pride. I do feel like, growing up as well, I did a lot of like summer camps and weird programs. My mom would send me on these weird adventures. And the best memories that I have, including some of the friends that I still even have today, are like people that I've met through those. Like one experience that I'm thinking of in particular, I did the summer camp when I was 16,
Uh-huh.
and it was with 100 people, 100 women all around the world, and the US. in the middle of the woods, and we like lived together for 8 to 10 weeks or so.
Where were the woods?
Upstate New York.
Okay.
Yeah. And no phones, obviously. We lived in tents the entire time. We were like 16, 17.
Yeah.
And like describing like the rituals and other things as part of it, people are like, that is super
Or
weird.
what was this camp about? Yeah, all you said is you just go live in the
Basically a
woods.
cult.
Yeah.
It was technically a leadership camp.
Okay.
So there were like adults there obviously supervising, but like you would ask them the question like, oh, what should I do with this? And they'd say like, be your own sachem, like figure it out. And so it was like a bunch of like 16, 17-year-olds like leading this camp, like putting together projects. Like we were the ones like cooking all the meals, cleaning. Like there was a leader every day, a sachem, who was like the go-to person, who was like a 16-year-old kid, like with the agenda and like leading everyone around. It's hard to describe. It is like a little cult for
This is like
16-year-olds.
big Lord of the Flies energy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have read that book, like.
Yeah. But it's so interesting that organization has such pride around it. Like it's been around for, I don't even know, 80 years or something. And alum from the whole kind of history of the camp will still come back to New York every year to help set up the camp and donate. And that was really inspiring to me, like how these kind of traditions and rituals would really kind of bring people together.
Yeah.
And I think actually that theme has become even like more emergent and popular and like important, I think, especially in this world where like people are more isolated post-COVID, that thing. And I do think it's a strategic advantage for business. But yeah. So anyway, I'm happy to see those worlds merge.
Okay. Very interesting. I definitely didn't know about this summer camp in the woods when you were a teenager.
Yeah.
But when I was doing research, I did see this story about how when you were like 5 or something, you did like a science fair in school, and that is this a real say, or what was that story about?
Yeah, well, the real story is my high school had something called Invent America,
Mhm.
and they were like these nerdy invention competitions.
Where was your high school?
Central New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah. And as part of these competitions, every year, every student at the school would have to invent something and present it to the school, almost like a science fair. And I got really into it. My dad is an engineer by heart, and I have a tiger mom as well. So the combination of those two things meant like we took these very seriously. And so I'd basically been creating these inventions since I was young as part of this program. By 5th grade, I started winning prizes. And then from there, kind of like with my dad as kind of a hobby, would go to like trade shows. I tried out for Shark Tank at one point.
Oh, really?
There's another.
What was the invention that you tried out with?
I think for that one, it was like a set of snowboarding training wheels. So we had created these flaps that like go on the edge of your snowboard so that when you obviously it's easy to fall over.
Yeah.
This would help stabilize you. So like they looked really ugly and were horribly insightful, but they did work well. So like instead of falling more often, you would be like held up by
that sounds very useful. Yeah. Does anything like that exist? Like training wheels for snowboarding?
I've moved on. Unfortunately, pin is my full-time focus now. But yeah, it was fun to test and build and whatever. But like I think it was less about the physical invention or anything like that, and more just about like the innovation, meeting founders who were doing their own thing.
Yeah.
So that was really formative early on.
Interesting. Yeah. I think a lot of founders have like stories like that where they were like kind of like creating new things when they were young. I don't. So I'm like not in that group.
What were you doing when you were young?
I don't know. I was playing like Minesweeper and Solitaire and trying to get like faster.
I love
times
Minesweeper.
Dude, at one point
great.
I had like the 40-second fastest like score in the world or something on Expert.
Whoa.
Yeah, 39 seconds, I think.
Wow, that's legit.
Yeah, so that's how I wasted my life until I was like 21. Yeah, while you're
There's a strong gamer founder pipeline.
Yeah. So as you got started as a founder coming out of GSB, like who was the first person who really believed in you?
Yeah, out of GSB.
Yeah, and it can't be me, even though I know it was me.
Yeah. No, but actually you were one of the strongest people or strongest supporters that I had. And I remember too because we didn't know each other that well at the time. Like I think we literally connected over the fundraise because you were fundraising around the same time. And so I remember very distinctly, like you were practice pitching on me and I was also practice pitching on you. And it was like, that was kind of like our first intro to our friendship.
Yeah. And you came to our apartment, right? In SF where we were.
I did not come to your apartment. I was on the East Coast, so I did not come to your apartment.
Are you sure?
I remember, no, I'm 100% positive.
Oh no, I'm a different Asian girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
We'll cut that out of the podcast.
Yeah. Neal really believed in me. So formative, so memorable.
I thought we did meet in like the lobby.
No. I'm 100% positive. 1,000%. I was literally on the East Coast, and I remember we Zoomed or like called.
I think this might have been before.
No, I promise you I was not in your apartment.
Not in our apartment, in our lobby.
No, I wasn't.
Okay. We'll go back
I
and check
am
the
not
tape. Yeah.
I am like 99.999% sure you're thinking of
You're
somebody
never
else.
in SF.
Not that I was never in SF, but I distinctly remember I really only met you virtually. The first time we met in person was
Yeah.
after COVID, like way, way, way after.
Oh, was it in SF though? In our apartment?
No,
Maybe that's what I'm remembering.
I never saw your apartment. I saw photos of it
Oh,
because
you
you
know,
guys
no,
lived
no,
together.
in the lobby though.
Yeah, no, I
I have this like really distinct memory of us like sitting
no,
in the lobby
no.
of our apartment, and dang, who was that?
I'm like
Yeah.
99.9% sure that's
Okay,
not me.
okay, we'll fight about this later. All right,
Yeah.
back to the
Yes,
story.
but you really believed in me. Clearly very memorable. Yeah.
Oh man, no, I'm gonna blush.
No, but you were really helpful.
Yeah.
You're very, very helpful. Because I feel like at the time too, I mean, I could go on for this, story for a different time, but I feel like also I told you the story about, even just getting started with Mulu and the pivoting there, but like
Hmm.
on the team side too, it's like me and my co-founder, we were really good friends from undergrad. And as soon as COVID happened, right after we signed the term sheet, he basically got cold feet and decided he
Mm,
couldn't do it anymore. And so I feel like it was rough. It was like COVID, obviously, which comes with its whole things. It was
yeah.
like the pivoting and being uncertain about the idea. Transparently as well, I didn't have a great relationship with my investor because of some weird stuff that happened there. And so it was really hard at that time. So I think really kind of, founders like yourself, my classmates, et cetera, too, were like truly some of my biggest support, which is why also PIN just felt so important because it's beyond the money, right? It's about the social network and support system you have as a founder. Like I'm sure you can relate to that. That really kind of pushes you through.
Yeah. Okay. I think one of the most interesting things we could talk about for all the founders out there is like how to make this transition from not transition, but just like be a creator on top of being a founder. I know a lot of founders are trying to figure out how to build in public, but also like do it in a way that feels natural to them and not like you're just like selling your startup all the time.
Yeah.
Um, and I know this also wasn't your first attempt to become a creator, right? After being a
No,
founder.
not at all.
So yeah, like do you have tips for people like what worked, what didn't work, and how would you go about it if you're doing it for a new company?
Yeah, I have so much to say on this topic. Where do I even
Yeah.
begin? I think the first thing that is just my blunt hot take. Maybe it's not even that big of a hot take, is that I think a lot of attempts to build in public don't work because people don't care about a founder in general, like as a standalone thing. Like I think, for example, like Wishbone Kitchen, another creator that I love, she was like a private chef or she was a private chef in the Hamptons. And she started off not only with recipes, but also like day in my lives because people were intrigued by that job.
Mm,
I don't think most people care about the average day of a founder.
yeah.
I care. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, half the videos that come up on my TikTok are on this topic, but none of them have like huge outsized engagement. And there are very few that I can think of that have really broken out in a meaningful way.
Hmm.
And frankly, they haven't led with that. Like Strawberry Milk Mob I mentioned earlier, she's become very successful and she admitted she also started creating mostly to, sell her brand, but most of her content really is lifestyle content, and where she started to really take off was the lifestyle content. Had nothing to do with her company really. Now it's kind of become a piece of that, but that's not what, ultimately accelerated her.
Yeah.
Similarly, like Grace Beverly is another one. Like people know her as a founder of her clothing brand, and I think um, you know, I think there's also something special about like retail and consumer that people are intrigued by. But
Mhm.
until you're really successful, my hot take is like no one really cares in the beginning usually about what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think the exception to that is like new app launches, especially if they're like focused on consumer around a hot topic of the moment. Like right now around doom scrolling, there have been some that have really taken off. But
Yeah.
I think too many people try to build a following by doing like founder day in my life or founder behind the scenes.
Yeah. We've tried that.
It's hard. Like no one, I mean, that's why I talk about PIN a little bit now. But really where I lead is like, okay, what's the value to the audience, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a difference between showing someone your average day in the life versus like showing someone why your content is valuable to them. For me, in my case, people are excited about investing in interesting startups, getting information about cool potential jobs. They're intrigued by tech, but it's not because of me as a person, especially at least not in the beginning. I think too many people lean into that,
Yeah.
thinking that that's, something people are interested in, but like unless it's like me or you, people in my experience, it's not the way to kind of blow up.
Okay. I think that's a really helpful kind of like strategy tip that lots of people can take away from this. Another thing that you hear a lot as a creator starting out is like, that you think about and you might hear about is like, should you create content that you want to make or stuff that you think your audience would get value from? So how do you balance those two things? Like, did you look for the intersection or were you more focused on like value for your audience?
It's tough. I think, I mean, to your previous conversations, I
Uh,
think where I've really struggled is there are some things that I know would do really well on social media, like very emotional, rage baity type of things that, some creators have a lot of success with in the sense that they grow followings really quickly. They have large engagement, things like that. But for me, from like a moral perspective, and also just it's not really my personality to get like angry about things or try to rile people up about stuff and exaggerate. So like that's an example of something, a strategy I know that works well that I just didn't really want to create, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it was less about like content I would consume personally. I guess part of it is that, but also stuff that I would feel proud of associating my name with, right? Like, does this align with my values and my moral compass is kind of one thing. And then the second piece really is strategy, which is like, okay, I think one of the things that really helped me blow up, first on Twitter, then on Instagram and TikTok, and LinkedIn to a smaller extent, not nearly as good as you on that. But it's like I really understand the platforms that I post on. So like
Mm.
before I started posting on TikTok and Instagram, I have consumed so much short form content. So much. Like I love it. I love media of all sorts. Like I just genuinely love doom scrolling. At least I used to more. And so I feel like I had a good understanding of what the cultures of the platforms were like, the types of hooks that worked really well. I literally had a folder that I had that saved, content ideas or like hook ideas, things like that. And so I think it was an iteration process of like, what are people actually looking for from an industry perspective or content perspective? And then two, it's like, how do I package it in a way that I know fits the culture of the platform?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Just from watching your content, it seems like you also try to test, or I don't know what your process is, but you find these like repeatable formats that you can use over and over. And I think that's probably important for someone who's really busy, like outside of content, right?
That is like the only reason why I can keep doing this. 'Cause I think in the beginning, so how it all started was like my New Year's resolution for this year was I really wanted to create content. And to your point, this is not my first attempt. Like it's actually probably like my fourth or fifth. And it had never really stuck before because I didn't commit to just doing it and I didn't have a routine. And so for me, for the start of this year, it was, okay, I'm gonna do this for 90 days regardless, and specifically every day, like, I would wake up at 7, film from 7 to 8:30, and then I would start my work day after that, right? And, I was like, I'm gonna
Discipline.
I was like, "I'm just gonna do it," and I at night too, I'd also edit and stuff, like, I had apps in the morning and night that I would do this, but I was like, "I'm just gonna do it regardless of how it goes for 90 days," like, that was my commitment, and very fortunately this time around, like, I got way more traction earlier on than in the past, so I think that definitely helped with momentum and feeling like, "Oh, okay, I'm not speaking completely into the void." But I'd say the first 90 days for me was, like, purely experimental, like, very little strategy involved in that. It was just, like, cool things that I found interesting to share,
Yeah.
like, trying out different formats or things that, people may or may not like or wanna hear from me. And over the course of those 90 days, that's really when I iterated to kind of there's, like, 3, I'd say, main things that I do over and over again every week. It's the companies that will make you a millionaire.
Mhm.
It used actually 4 things. There used to be, Secrets from Stanford Business School. I don't do that every week, but it's a consistent series that people have known me for. It's the weekly, reads on Sundays, like,
Yeah.
don't read or don't doom scroll, instead read these things, and the last one is, like, news summaries. Um, and all those really started from, like, me having an inkling of an idea of an experiment, committing to trying it 3 times, and if it seems to perform well and people seem to resonate, then I've kind of put it in the rotation.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's kinda how I've been able to build a more sustainable, routine, I think, despite not being able to focus on it full time.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah. It's cool that you were able to like figure it out so quickly, like on a relative time scale, I think. Do you remember what day you made your first post
On TikTok,
this year?
I think it was, like, literally January 1st,
Oh,
like, December
okay.
31st. Oh, actually, no, it was December 31st, and I remember this because I posted it December 31st. I left, obviously, New Year's Eve, whatever, and then I go home, and right before I went to sleep, I happened to open TikTok on my personal account, and I was, like, scrolling, and my own video from the other account that I had posted came up on my For You page.
Ah,
And, I had completely disconnected, so that was the other thing, I was so embarrassed, like, I didn't want to use my real phone for my new account because you know how it pings people being like, "Oh, you may know this person on Instagram or TikTok, connections you may know." I really, really, really didn't want people to see it, unless there was a reason for them to see it, aka like organically came up for them. So that was a way that I kind of hedged myself and like got over the cringe, if you will.
Yeah.
But I remember I got home New Year's Eve after going out that night, and literally I was like scrolling before bed, and literally that video from my other account came up, and I noticed it had like a fair amount of traction on it. I gained 6,000 followers from that initial post on TikTok from just that one video.
What was the first video about?
About why equity is so important if you want to make a lot of money
Oh, okay.
and ownership. Yeah.
What's your favorite series to make out of the 4 that you
Mm,
had in rotation?
I think companies that will make you a millionaire.
Uh,
I mean, I follow tech news anyway. I think
yeah.
kind of to your earlier question too, like one thing that I would suggest for founders is do content that's easy for you. Like
Mhm.
I think part of the reason why I'm able to do this sustainably as well is like I'm not researching things specifically for content. Like
Yeah.
part of it is, I guess, like through my job, obviously just giving pin and everything too. It's like I'm learning about this stuff anyway. But I'm not like going out and searching for a whole new topic to research and then put together a video. There's some really high quality journalists and other folks who do that well. It's just like I literally would not have the time. And so
Yeah.
I think the reason I like this one so much is like I already follow tech news. Starts and founders are who we serve anyway. They're like our potential customers. And so like through the work that I'm already doing for work, it's easy to make that content. And I find it genuinely really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I I think from the outside, I always imagine that you must be very organized about it. Like one question that I was going to ask you is because I read your newsletter and I get so many newsletters, but I think the reads that you curate are the
Mm.
best
Oh
out
my
of out
gosh,
of
thank
everyone.
you. I'm
Yeah.
so
Um,
flattered.
so, but I know you're busy too. So, I think it's really impressive that you can like read all this stuff, synthesize it, and then like also like present it in a way that is compelling to people, like, both in your newsletter and in your Instagram posts, and I'm sure there's, like, overlap, but do you have, like, a really good system for ingesting this, like, stream of information and then turning it into all these different outputs?
First of all, I'm very flattered.
Yeah. Or is it actually, like, crazy behind the scenes? Do you have no system and it just, like
There have been times it's crazier. I think actually the organizing and automating stuff has been such a huge game changer. Like things were getting out of hand at some point where I was like, literally staying up until 1 a.m. finishing stuff and
I could see you doing that too.
yeah.
Yeah, just like
But I was like, I can't do that anymore. And so actually my biggest thing that I have come to, so one we talked about, which is like series that are repeatable, that just takes out so much brain space because okay, every Friday you're posting this, every Sunday you're posting this, every Monday you're posting this. And again, if it's about information you're already ingesting and interested in, like it just makes that piece so much easier. The second thing that I've done is automate as much as possible. So like my newsletter, for example, I have a VA who helps put that together. And so like we have a shared note, for example, where like as I see things throughout the week, I'll dump it in a shared note, and then every Sunday night or Monday, she'll curate all of that and kinda help put together the rough template that's, like, 85% done in the newsletter. And then the third thing that I do is that, I try to implement one new experiment a week. So, like, I have a whole list in my notes, my Apple Notes, of, like, things that I wanna do if I had more time, whether it's, like, new content ideas, editing things, like thumbnails for my Instagram, like, a bunch of random stuff, and I commit to trying to do one each week, and depending on how busy or not I am, sometimes it's a little thing like, fixing a few thumbnails. Sometimes it's a bigger thing like, oh, trying a new content series that I have to do a little bit more research and editing for. So those are kind of like my tips there.
Okay, that's cool. So, like, a continuous improvement, like, engine with the one new idea a week.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you usually are you able to, like, actually do the one new idea a week or
Like yes, only because sometimes the new idea is like super, super small, right?
okay.
Like
So you pick an easy achievable one.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like even as simple as like my one from like 2 weeks ago was like I realized that there was no subscribe link in my newsletter. So if people were forwarded the newsletter, they wouldn't be able to get or they wouldn't click on that link, even though a lot of other newsletters have that. Like that took, 5 minutes. So
Right.
not always like a huge, huge thing, but sometimes little things. Yeah.
I think one of the first things you talked about was, like, people generally don't not enough people care about a day in the life of a founder, and, like, maybe they probably shouldn't not because we know, like, the early founder life is, like, really not that glamorous
I
and
mean,
exciting.
I think it's
Yeah,
cool, but the average person, it's like they don't care about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it was, like, every day you wake up, get on stand-up, it's supposed to be half an hour, you stay on stand-up for 4 hours because 'cause you're fighting about stuff. Anyways,
Perfect. Yeah.
but I think, maybe helping other people, like, avoid these common traps
Mhm.
would be helpful. So are there other, like, either mistakes that you made or things that you think people are like, could end up just, like, spinning their wheels on for a while?
Yeah, I'd say the other thing that comes to mind is I always commit to experimenting with something 3 times, and iterating on it because I think there's so many things that can cause a video to flop, for example. So, like, maybe it's a bad hook, maybe it's bad timing, or, like, you just happen to post at a really horrible time, or, I don't really believe in all these, like, tips that you see, especially on TikTok about, posting times and hashtags, like, none of that stuff matters, but sometimes you do get unlucky with a variety of things, right? And so, like, the Secrets of Stanford Business School is a perfect one where it was named something differently at first, and my hooks weren't as strong, and I remember, like, my first 2 videos, I didn't do super well, but my 3rd video, after iterating each time on something a little bit different, like, really did take off in a meaningful way, and now it's, like, one of my more successful series. So I'd say, like, with content in general, but also new ideas you have, like, commit to experimenting a few times first
Okay.
before scrapping something.
Do you have plans to do long form content, video content at some point?
If I had more time and if I weren't doing pin, I would 100% wanna do long form.
Okay.
I
What
think
what kind of long form?
there's so many topics I just feel like aren't you aren't able to cover with nuance in a short format.
Mm,
And actually one of my biggest frustrations in life on a societal level, but also on a social media level right now is the lack of nuance in content and conversations online. Like, I'm sure you've witnessed this too. It's like everything just feels so extreme, and part of that is by nature of the format, right? Like, and you can only speak for 30 seconds to hold someone's attention. You're
right.
not gonna be able to give every caveat. I struggle with this even like I've been doing more videos lately on upcoming IPOs. And even within 3 minutes or 2.5 minutes, whatever it is, it's like, you can only cover so much. You can't give every single caveat of every single financial thing or,
Yeah.
and I get tons of comments from people being like, you're wrong about this or like,
Yeah.
blah, blah, and whatever. It helps with engagement. But from like a me looking at it
Yeah.
perspective, I'm like, this is not good for the world. Where
That's kind of. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
no, 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 not at all.
It just made me think like that's something that I've struggled with as a founder talking to investors where there's so much like nuance and depth, but you have to figure out how to like present
Yeah,
like some aspect of your company in like
totally.
seconds.
Yeah, people don't have attention spans for long periods of time and or nuance for a topic they don't understand, especially when they're doing it in an investor's case like 20 times a day.
Yeah.
So I have empathy for that, but I think part of it is also frustrating for me where I'm like, oh, like I think that's truly like one of the biggest gripes that I have with the world right now, where I feel like the loss of nuance in conversation and discourse is like a genuine problem that's impacting a lot of people. So anyway, the last thing that I want to do is exacerbate that. And that's why I gravitate, I think, or me personally, if I think about kind of like next chapter, if I were doing this full time, it would
Mhm.
want to, I'd want to do more long form content, just about topics, even as like, how to find a good startup that you want to work at, right?
Yeah.
And like how to negotiate a contract, compensation contract or equity contract. Like there's so many like meatier topics that are both more technical and more nuanced that I'd want to do.
Is there anyone doing that kind of content right now that
I don't know. I'm not sure. Not that I've seen specifically on the equity side, particularly. Definitely lots of like personal finance folks and um You know, tangential for sure.
okay.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask you is because you're definitely like I think still much more in the founder world, than especially with the kind of content you make. It's like founder content, right?
Yeah.
But are there things you're trying to do to like get deeper into the creator or even like traditional entertainment world? Like what you mentioned earlier, you're still kind of like an outsider or like a new person to this, right? But are you gonna go to like VidCon or Vid Summit or anything like that? Should we go to a conference together at some point?
Yeah, is that
Of
gonna
your
deepen our
creativity?
friendship, Neil? I want to for sure. I think actually part of the joy of having had this kind of take off this year for me is like it has become a substantial part of my life, not just in terms of how I spend my days or even just like the money part of it, but also just the people that I've been able to meet because of this, right? It's like the founders that I feature through this have, interesting kind of implications or being invited to dinners or events that I otherwise wouldn't have. Like that has been such a joy, like, to have your world open up in this way. I've loved that. So I think in an ideal world where I had more time, like, absolutely, I would love to. I haven't figured out exactly how to do that, and I think one thing that I'm thinking a lot about is, um, I do think we're gonna see a future where there's a bridge of, like, lifestyle and education content come more into play. Like, I think in my experience right now, people are, like, pretty siloed, but I do
Mm.
think there's, like, a Venn diagram overlap of folks that, are gonna be really, really powerful, and those kinds of people who have, like, a more holistic, view into their life plus a great business, I think are gonna be some of the most interesting creators in the future, and so that's something that I aspire to, like, on a 5-year horizon, 10-year horizon, but I
Mm.
think it's cool. Yeah.
Is there a good model of that today?
Um, I don't know. Like, Mr. Beast comes to mind purely because people are fascinated by his life only because he's gotten to the scale that he has, right? So I think he didn't start off, like, with showing off his life, but people like, he's now in the tabloids and everything because people are intrigued by, who he is as a person because of the scale he's gotten and the attention he's
Mm.
gotten. Or, like, I don't know, who else do I follow whose life I really care about on the education side? I don't know, is there anyone that comes to mind for you?
You know Chloe? She?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know her super well, or I've seen her content,
Yeah.
in passing. Yeah, so she might be a good example of that
Yeah.
too.
Maybe.
She's
She's not as much founder, but she doesn't.
well, like, educate what I mean is, like, education and
Right,
lifestyle
right.
together.
Okay.
So, yeah, she's probably a really good example of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll make a list later.
Yeah.
People to weigh up to.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna go into the cool down. This is the last segment, and this is gonna be like a lightning round with a bunch of different questions.
Okay.
So first, we're gonna start with the fun like MBTI like game
Okay.
that we do with new people at Beacons. I might have done this with you already, but
I don't think so.
do you know what your MBTI is?
No, it changes all the time.
Okay, I probably couldn't make a good guess either. Okay, so the questions are sun or moon?
Sun,
Okay, cat or dog?
dog.
Okay, I am also a sun dog.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah?
Yeah, what does that mean to you?
Um, I don't know, I'm a cheery, happy person. I treasure loyalty and community, I think,
Okay.
and connection.
Okay. Dogs are all about community, I guess. Hanging out with their
And
pals
snacks.
and snacks. Yeah,
That's the rest.
dogs do love snacks.
Exactly.
Okay. Best first date idea in New York City.
Ooh.
Asking for a friend. Uh,
What's your goal? Are you trying to impress? Are you trying to
I had not thought this far ahead. That's why I was asking you for help.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. Is this some
These are the conversations that Steph and I usually have. So yeah.
this is your first time ever meeting this person? Or is it like a friend that you're, like, turning into a date situation for the first time?
Let's say first time meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, ooh. Okay, honestly, this is a hot take. I was like, as short as possible. If I'm going on a first date, I wanna spend, like, an hour or less with somebody. That's not a good answer. Ooh, bike ride over the Brooklyn Bridge, and then a
Okay.
run. You can race them.
Okay. I haven't done that before. It sounds like you would hate that date, but
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. If they can't keep up with you, they're not a good fit for you.
What about the best like date night then?
Ooh. Man, the hard-hitting questions. I have no idea.
Oh man.
Dinner at Via Crota.
I don't know what that is, but I can look into it.
It's an
Uh,
amazing Italian restaurant, and sometimes Taylor Swift goes there.
okay. Where is like West Philly, Lexington? Okay.
Yeah.
One founder that you would want to trade places with for a week?
Ooh, probably Blake from Boomero, who like the or the
Uh,
supersonic plane company.
yeah, you just
I feel like
posted
that'd be
about one
cool.
of his posts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or Elon Musk, of course.
Okay.
Because I mean, who wouldn't want to be Elon for like just 1 week?
Yeah.
It had to be Elon.
Yeah. As long as it's only for a week, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a kind of AI company that you're really excited about right now?
Ooh, I am excited about a lot of the AI productivity stuff. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of them are coming out of Google. And I just made a video about why I'm so bullish on Google. Like Nano Banana, super, super cool. Notebook LM has become like a great workforce thing or a great workflow tool
Oh,
that I use. Um,
I need to ask you about that. Yeah,
it's
I
good.
haven't really used it much.
Yeah.
Okay. What is one emoji that you overuse? And I'll share my opinion after you do, and we'll see what's the same one.
Over years, I don't know. I think my most used emoji is the zany face. The like tongue out, big eye.
Yes, that's the one I
Is
wrote
that
down
good?
here too. Yeah, yeah,
I love that one.
it's definitely that one.
It's definitely, but it's like fun.
Yeah, it is.
Cool. The one thing I'm gonna ask that I think would be fun is can you both do the zany face to camera? Just try to. And like send it. Don't do it in this moment. You gotta get like one eye big, one eye small.
I actually can't do that. I can't like wink.
You can't wink.
Okay. It'll be extra zany, I guess. Wait, can you do it?
uh
I'm gonna look so stupid.
it's easier to do the more traditional one with the one eye closed. But that one was my former one. The one with the one eye, or sorry, the one eye closed, one eye open with the tongue out, just like flat.
Hmm.
But then I feel like people think that's flirty. So the zany one is like I'm playful, but not
okay.
flirty. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So sometimes I have to like rein that in. I like worry people are gonna like think that I'm flirty with them.
Okay, makes sense. I never had that thought, so you're safe with this new emoji choice.
Yeah, thank you.
You picked something that's actually very hard for me. I don't have good control over my face muscles. My only facial expression is smiling. Thanks, Steph, for showing up today. That was really fun. Now you can go eat all the snacks that you want in
Thank
our
you.
office.
That's the only reason I'm
And
here.
that's all for today's episode. Thank you for watching or listening. I'm your host, Neal, and this is Always Peaking. See you next time.